Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Three Martini Lunch. My name is Jay Izso, and I sit alongside some of the United States' best business people and the thought leaders from all over the great United States of America. And you know what? We are in the midst of the holidays, and we are serving up our holiday libations of thought leadership and our ideas on how to run your business. And you know, with us today is our, what should we say, our master of mixers. He's the lead singer of the band when it comes to Rockstar Connect. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is the one and only, the head bartender for you today here at the Three Martini Lunch, Stephen David Elliot.
Thank you so much, Jay. I really appreciate the introduction. It's been a while. I know that you're still feeling a little bit of pain there in your eye. I'm so glad that you came back.
We just got, sometimes, Stephen, we just have to suck it up.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that what the coach always said? Suck it up.
Suck it up, man. You got to suck it up. That's what we're doing today.
Always right. You know, those PE coaches really should have been doctors. I don't know how many people were able to miraculously get up on broken ankles and continue to play their sport.
Well, like they said in physical education, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Play dodgeball. Come on.
Gosh, you know, that's one of the things I really am disappointed they canceled in school, because I think you learn behaviors that are incredibly important, from getting hit in the face at 100 miles an hour with a plasticized red ball. Instead, the kids have to play Squid Game, which is
what?
You haven't heard of Squid Game?
No, what's Squid? No, what's Squid Game?
It's a show on Netflix.
Really?
It's really
a Korean show, yeah, South Korean, really just crazy commentary on capitalism, I guess.
Okay, all right.
But definitely worth watching.
Okay,
sure. All right. Everyone had a great Thanksgiving, I hope. Did everyone get to celebrate? Great. And you had your share of turkey and everything else? Terrific. Well, I appreciate the time off. I'm looking forward to a big Christmas season. It's Hanukkah now for those that celebrate. Happy Hanukkah. Jenny, happy Hanukkah to you. Happy Hanukkah to you, Jay, and whoever else who's watching that may celebrate. You know what? If you don't celebrate, you can always light a candle. It's pretty fun. It's about rededication of your life. Now, Sarah came up with a great question this week. I guess it could be business oriented, but not really. It's more on your philosophy, or you being given almost like an omnipotent power so that you can accomplish something for yourself or for the world. So it's a really good thing. Sarah came up with it today, and she asked the question. I didn't realize that she was auditioning the question. So I immediately got into the answering it myself and saying, what a good question, Sarah. But here's the question. The question we are going to ask today is, if you could add or remove something from the whole world, and that could be a thing, it could be a person, a concept. If you could remove something like that from the whole world, what? Add. I'm sorry?
Or add.
Well, you didn't put or add here.
Yes, I did.
Or add. What would it be and why? If you could add or remove something from the whole world, what would it be and why? Boy, adding something to the whole world would be pretty hard, right? Because no, okay. Well, let's see what the answers are on that. That makes it even more a more complex question, even more complex.
But one thing.
I'm going to let Damon start with this one.
Thanks a lot. It's great. Appreciate the 15 seconds to think about this answer.
Well, what you could do is you could share a success of the last week with us.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, I'm sure that'll jog something in your brain for the rest of the question. How does that sound?
Okay, that's a deal. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to finish writing it down. Okay, so if I could add or remove something from the world, what would it be? Okay, so I'll think about that. Success from this past week. Well, my turkey turned out great. I do the whole grind for 24 hours, and then I let it rest for 24 hours, and that makes the turkey turn out just spectacularly. Let's see, another success. Well, see, I'm an Oklahoma Sooner fan, so we successfully kicked out one of our most successful coaches and packed him off to California. So I'm really excited about that. If anybody that follows college football, there was a period of mourning here.
That's a big deal in college town.
Yeah, it is. If I could add or remove something from the world, what would it be? This is going to sound really weird. I would add for every person, and we would have to make adjustments based upon the mental fortitude of each person, but I would make sure that part of your training as you're becoming an adult would be you have to overcome some really difficult obstacle. And I know that sounds weird, and many of you are like, dude, I've got like 6 or 7 of those already. So, but I really come to the belief, I'm now 45 years old. I just am of the belief now that you cannot truly know who you are, what you are made of, until you are forced to overcome something extremely difficult. You know, right now, the rites of passage are things like, going to college. Not everybody goes to college, but, graduating from college, buying your first car, buying a house, all these things that signify I'm an adult now. And I just feel like you can't truly know what you're made of until you have failed spectacularly. Maybe I should refine this. Everyone must go through at least one major failure where they are embarrassed beyond all possible belief. And then you recover from that, because you will look back 20 years later and say, wow, that right there did not define who I am, but it shaped who I am.
That's great.
And so, again, I know that's a weird thing. It's like, why would you want to bring more torment into the world? But I don't know. That's just.
I think it's important because you do learn the power of redemption. At least in our society, forgiveness reigns. There's a lot of people that have had tremendous failures and done really bad things and been able to redeem themselves and come back.
Yeah. I think that learning the lesson, the power of humility, we're all guilty of thinking our poop doesn't stink. I've been there. We've all been there. And I've been humbled, sometimes greatly. And it's helped me to not take myself too seriously, and also to give grace to those that do make mistakes, other people that make mistakes, and realize my mistakes didn't define who I am. Well, their mistakes don't define who they are either. Some mistakes are greater than others. Especially in today's world, people, see how many people they make comments on social media 10 or 15 years ago, and then later on their comments come back to haunt them.
Oh, I saw that today. That was crazy, right? With Twitter.
You could make the argument that, well, you shouldn't have made those comments in the first place. And I tend to agree with that too. Sometimes, usually the best path is just to keep your mouth shut, keep your thoughts to yourself, but I don't believe that every mistake we make should be used against us 10 or 15 or 20 years later down the road. So anyway, that's just kind of how I believe. I feel like there should be a path to redemption. And now, again, if you do something egregiously horrible, well, then you're going to pay. I didn't say you're free from consequences. I just said that everyone should be given some grace, obviously within reason. But mistakes and failures are the way that we learn and improve. So
Damon, here's another sort of like a little add-on. When everything seems to be going well, and like you've reached a lot of goals, personal goals you've had in your life, you're confident about yourself, people are confident in you and they like you and they trust you. doesn't that feel weird a little bit sometimes? Like maybe a shoe's gonna drop.
Oh yeah, yeah, and in this job and really in any job, anytime you accept the faith and trust of other people, you're now on the clock, right? And what's that old? It's that line from The Dark Knight. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain, right? And all of us can go there.
That's great. That's a really good one. Thanks for your answers. Also, I just want to give you if you don't have time to brine your turkey sometime in the future, Empire chickens, which are kosher chickens, are brined already because a kosher chicken, they have to salt it to get out all the blood for it
So
to be a kosher chicken.
one of our field trips when I was in 6th grade was to the Empire Kosher Chicken Factory. Why you would take a group of 6th graders to a chicken factory at a normal school, right? Like that would not be normal. But at a Jewish school, yes, your 6th grade field trip includes a trip to the Empire Kosher Chicken Factory and then to Hershey Park.
Well, I mean, at least they, finished it off with the sweet. But I seem to remember being brought to some sort of abattoir when I was in elementary school, and it seemed very inappropriate at the time, but there must have been a reason that they had decided that. And actually, they took us to a slaughterhouse, followed up by a trip to McDonald's. So here's where your food comes from. Here's where you're eating. They probably created a lot of vegetarians that particular day. Hey, this is a great question, sir. It really is a great question. I like it a lot. Let's go over to Clint. Clint, if you could add or remove something from the whole world, what would it be and why?
A couple of things first. It's great to see everybody. I hope y'all had an amazing holiday and you got some breathers. Damon, y'all didn't kick him out. In case nobody knows, Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma for $110 million. They bought him a $6 million home in LA. They purchased both of his houses in Norman for $500,000 over ask. And he has 24/7 unlimited personal or business use to USC's private jet. So,
and he got playing in the Southeastern Conference, soft.
They've been a powerhouse. They need to come back. And I guess they think he's the one to do it because they threw the whole house at this dude.
Hey, look, I'm not going to lie. If somebody offered me all that and moved to sunny Southern California,
I'm not even packing, bro.
I think it still was probably a very hard decision.
No, he actually said something one day and then literally the next day took the job and the next day he was in LA.
But look how much they threw at him, though. That's
exactly. There is no decision to be made. You don't even pack clothes. You buy new ones. Like you can get out of town before the reporters show up at your front door.
Buy them for you and have it already in the drawers.
I'm sure their closets are stocked. I'm sure Sarah would be impressed at the wife's wardrobe. Probably that's already stacked in their garage. I mean, in their closet there. All right. So now that I've done with that, I guess stupid people, is that too general? So stupid people and then add patience and understanding. But stupid people, like that would be number one for me. So I ain't got time for all that.
You don't have time for it. So none of the stupid people.
No, I ain't got time for that. I'm too old and done too many things to even care about that.
I think that what's the hardest thing is not so much stupid people, it's just people that don't learn at all.
Mm-hmm.
They have as much awareness at 56 as they did at 16. That's really like where's the growth?
Mm-hmm. I agree, Domenic. Everyone is stupid to someone. I get it. And congratulations for going to the office today. It's a very new look for you.
Oh, that's an office. I thought it was a backdrop. I'm very, very impressed then. Hey, Mark Sher, if you could add or remove something from the whole world, what would it be and why?
So say it one more time, Stephen.
If you could add or remove something from the world, from the whole world, what would it be and why?
Well, I'm going to make a controversial statement here. I think the internet should go away because the internet is what's causing all the insanity in the world. people don't have enough time to think and filter. And then there's people that are out there, making things up that aren't true. And people see it and they just go down the wrong path. I just really think, I look back 20 years ago and I think email's great, but I think too much data, too much knowledge, not enough, reality, too many people that troll. I mean, I just saw that in Australia, they're going to go after the people who troll. I mean, it's crazy. So there it is.
I mean, we're losing a grasp on reality. My mother, who I mean, her internet is basically words with friends and liking all of your posts if she has friended you. Has anybody been friended by my mother here on Facebook? You will instantly get all your content liked and loved. So if you need that boost, do that. But she said, like 35 years ago, she was seeing the CGI in the movies. And she said, you can't tell what's real and what's fake. Children are going to have a very difficult time because of this. They just won't know what's real. And now we have the metaverse. What are your thoughts on the metaverse, Mark?
Well, it's kind of scary too.
I mean, it's the internet times a million.
Right. But I'm just, like I said, I was having a conversation with somebody and, everyone's entitled. One of the great things about our country is you're entitled to have your opinions. The problem, because of the internet, is people's opinions are now polarized against each other and people can't have a conversation. But I'm pretty good at having conversations with people who disagree with me. And we were having a conversation about something and he made this statement and I said, well, unfortunately, what you're saying is not true. He goes, really, show me. And I showed him this article by PhDs. It was a very interesting article. And it basically showed, but you had to read it because it was real easy to go in and take little pieces and excerpts and make this statement on the one side, on the right side, or another statement on the left side, another statement in the middle. You had to read the whole thing, and it was 32 pages long to get to the bottom, where they basically just came out and said, the information isn't being assessed honestly. These are scientists. And I'll just tell you, it's a little bit of a interesting subject. It was about, did the Wuhan virus come from a bat or was it engineered? And these are the top PhDs in the world, and they're saying there's both sides of the coin, but the bottom line is it's not being reported accurately.
Yeah. Do you remember Dr. Judy? She wrote a book. It said, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like every single day now with the news media.
Yeah.
That someone's peeing on my leg and telling me it's raining. I'm very skeptical. And I think everyone.
But I think it goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? Because for those of you or us that lean towards the right, you look at the media and you see, wow, this is not right. People who lean to the left, you can go and find media that's far right that they're going to, and I look at it and I go, that's wrong.
Well, they call it the echo chamber, right?
Yeah. So it's just like I said, it's all because of the internet. You can just go out there and search and you're going to find a point of view that agrees with you almost every time, but it's very hard to disseminate. I personally like looking for sources outside of the United States for US news, like BBC, things like that. And when you read, like I read an article on BBC about the subject and it was very interesting. They were the same way. The Republicans say this, the Democrats say this, and it's very hard to get to the bottom to discern the truth. So
another really good tool, if you're big readers and you like to get your news from the written press versus talking heads on TV, Real Clear Politics website. Real Clear Politics website, it'll take the opinions from the left, the right, and the middle, and they stack those articles on one another. So you read all three perspectives at once. And what I generally find is they're all echo chambers. It's almost like watching there's someone who's a partisan sports fan just speaking on their side, and a lot of it's horseshit. But when you can see all three sides and they tend to agree on something,
Yeah,
that's when you got to watch out.
yeah, but most people don't take the time to do that. They just see what they want to see. They go
They
off.
have to be a man in their 50s and 60s with slight insomnia. They frequently get up to go to the bathroom. Then you get plenty of time to read all that stuff.
Anyway, so that's my thing.
Yeah, my resistance. I use the internet, have to use it for work, use it all the time. But I'm going to resist the metaverse, just like I resisted gaming online, which my wife is very grateful of, because I'm present versus playing a video game all the time. And metaverse will be actually living in a video game, possibly. Maybe Jennifer will talk. We'll go to Jennifer and we'll ask her the question, and I'm sure she'll have a comment on this as well. Jennifer, if you could add or remove something from the whole world, what would it be and why?
First of all, good to see everyone again. Had a good, relaxing weekend. Also, while I'm thinking about this, very happy to say that I spent a lot of the weekend, last few weeks, working on our first animated title for the animation studio. It's called Galaxy Gourmet. So it's going to be a 3D animated sci-fi cooking show. So it's the first of its kind, really. So it's going to be very unique. A lot of cultural references, and it would take place parts of it in Charleston. So very excited about it, and currently talking the miss, hearing back what the producers would have to say. So super excited, but this is on a creativity note of it, of what I've always wanted to have, and it's an imaginary tool to have for any artist, especially, is to instantly create and make it reality. Probably terms for it, but it's basically, if you want to pre-visualize an entire a city, if you're creating things like that, ability to boom, create that from having to, kind of waste your ability to have it just, and maybe one day we'll get there. We'll have that ability to have that, instantly transferring your mind thoughts into that. First, yeah, it feels too much like Sims to me, and that area that I just feel like I'm waiting for more innovative things, new, reasonable feedback about it. It doesn't putting massively online player games like RPGs. Just now getting to this. Where were you guys in the early 2000s? More because business, but it's prospects, and then I'm my opinion is let's kind of wait and see where this goes.
Great perspective. And my fear is that something that has so much, screw it up,
right?
Just make it awful and ruin it. We had the possibility education with the internet, and the universities were all business. So if education on the internet, the campus itself. So, give big business an opportunity to screw some. Let's go over to Jenny.
sending Samantha off into the sunset, talking to me.
Not a
Yeah, it
problem.
was nice. It was whirlwind busy, but we had a hockey tournament, so we were traveling.
You do Hanukkah and Christmas?
We do Hanukkah and Christmas. Yep.
So what was the $2.7 million parts?
Okay, I'm gonna. So we have a very good friend who had saved all of her daughters. I can't say it because somebody's still in the room. And when she said I have a ton, I didn't. Gallon Rubbermaid tote full of all different kinds of dolls and accessories, and a fully assembled dream house.
Wow.
That had to come back with me from my parents' house because they were keeping it in their attic. And so she had put that brand on her holiday list for gifting this year. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. We'll just snag it from. But then when I was pulling it out of, like, there's 3 contractor bags, all the dolls and accessories that
Sounds
I
like
know
a lot
I won't get it done if I have to do it myself. Thanks.
sounds like a lot of
ADHD.
hairbrushing is involved there.
Yeah, maybe.
You need a doll hospital. Well, I'm going to shoot the question to you. If you could add or remove something from the whole world, what would it be and why?
Say all of the negative isms. So racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, ableism, ageism, all of the bad isms. Like, keep the feminism and get rid of the rest. No, but like, put it, like, to do away with the discrimination and the prejudice and the bigotry, because, like, it's a social construct. There's nothing that actually exists. There's no difference in, there's some minor differences in DNA, but, like, other than that, I mean, it just is. So having the all of the differences used to weaponize differences, to me, needs to go.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if you could do a magic wand and do it, but there's certainly some things you can get rid of right away. That we can, just agree that we all have our own way to God, for example.
Sure.
That's something we should be able to say, hey, let's disagree on that right now. And that would probably solve 75% of the world's problems.
No, right. I mean, there's yeah, I mean, I think it's something that doesn't need to exist, but it's used, it's weaponized to marginalize people, right? So, I mean, you can choose to look at somebody and see the differences, or you can look at somebody and celebrate in ways that you can connect that maybe aren't the same. So, but just because somebody has a different skin color, or somebody identifies as a different gender, or somebody is, older than you or younger than you, or, has a different ability, right? Or is, missing a body part, like, whatever it is, like, who cares? What matters is their character. And what matters is, using the, teaching them, strong core values from a young age, and celebrating that versus, perpetuating cycles of suppression and domination. Just saying.
There's last week I was doing one of the things that I study that I have a great interest in are lost tribes, and fascinates me anywhere in the world where it occurs. And I was reading in a book, and it mentioned a group of people called the Cagots, Cagots. And they were a group of people that were throughout Europe, and wherever they were discriminated against, except they were completely indistinguishable from anyone else. They didn't look any different than the people around them. They had the same religion. The only way you would know that they were part of this group is if you would basically, go look up their family tree to know that they were part of it, and they still discriminated against them. And it shows the utter idiocy of that. Up until the mid 20th century, this group was persecuted. So if you want to look into that, it's the Cagots, and that'll take you down a rabbit hole of all the groups that we have in the United States that have experienced similar things, like entire families and groups of people that we don't even know what their racial background is or anything like that. Assumptions are just made. Great stuff, Jenny. Let's go to Lisa, and then we'll go to Dom and Adam, and if Jay, you can take us out at the end. So
hey everybody, happy holidays. Thanksgiving is off and running already, and gosh, it's been incredibly busy, lots of fun, so much to be grateful for. And I love this question because I've answered it a million different ways in my head, and I come back down to many years ago, because my children were still kids living at home as opposed to often on their own, creating their own things out in the world. And a friend of mine had her first grandchild, and every day she would see the baby, she wouldn't see the baby every day, but every time she would see the baby, she would whisper in her ear, "Don't forget what heaven is like. I want you to tell me what heaven is like when you're able to talk to me." And and I thought that was really cute and really sweet. And as I think about this and what everyone has been saying, it's that, wow, that we still feel that connection, that we still have that love and understanding and that can-do-ness and all of that. What would that be like to have that ramped up more than the metaverse has ramped up the internet? I mean, how freaking fabulous would that be? I wonder what we could.
That would be terrific. And if I could answer the question and jump in front of everyone, for me, I would love to remove jealousy. People shouldn't be jealous of one another, and I'd like to add that everyone should be happy for one another. Because when good things happen to other people and you're happy about it, you get that side effect, right? It's like happy times 10. So that's what I would do. So Lisa, did you have a good holiday, good food, good wine?
All of the above.
Do you do vegetarian, or do you do a turkey and all that?
I do a turkey.
Good.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Got to have some turkey.
And so cranberry sauce.
And cranberry. We had boozy cranberry sauce.
Boozy berries.
It was extremely strong alcoholic cranberries, and I think they were sort of necessary. It sort of took the edge off the evening.
Brandied cranberries. There's a recipe out there.
Yeah, my father has an extreme hostility to chicken, and it somehow got on the menu, and I will never be doing that again. There will never be on the chicken on the menu while he is alive. Can't even be in the room with him. I think he was, abused by a chicken at a younger age. Domenic, did I say Domenic and then Adam, or did I say Adam and then Domenic? What did I say? We'll go with Domenic. Do you want me to say the question again?
No, I think I got it. And I'm not going to go as serious as everybody. I mean, there's so many things that if I like little nitpicky things that I could remove, if I could just get all of the cyclists off the road on Saturday mornings, that would be awesome. If I could remove all of the slow drivers from the left-hand lane, I think that would make the world a much better place. If I could add something, I would add everybody having great water pressure in their showers. Adam hears me. But I mean, the world is simultaneously an amazing and a cruel and a confusing yet completely understandable place. And permanently remove, permanently add, I don't know. I just gonna add what I can, which is insight, kindness, compassion, and just making a genuine effort to understand the people that that are out there, and you know, try to meet them on their level, as opposed to maybe being judgmental. We have to remove something, being judgmental about other people without trying to genuinely understand where they're at, what their position is, and you know, that might be something that I would remove.
And tax off gasoline and alcohol.
Excuse me?
Tax off gasoline and alcohol.
I mean, I don't mind paying for that. Look, I'm gonna buy it anyway, right?
That's how they get you. So what I really feel bad for with the water pressure thing is the people that don't even know that they've never experienced good water pressure.
Yeah.
And they're going to live their whole life with bad water pressure.
True.
Right?
True.
They're never going to experience like a good shower, and they're just going to go to their grave never knowing that they missed out on that. That's really, when you said that speaks to me.
I think it spoke to everybody, really.
There is a guy on the internet that sells like rigged shower heads.
Yeah.
He lived in a condo somewhere in like Miami on the 48th floor, and he just said, I can't, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm going to test all shower heads and then take them and manipulate them illegally and send them to you. But I think they put them in a gulag somewhere, because I tried to buy from him recently and he just disappeared. So if anybody
That's
comes
like
across
the Seinfeld episode with Kramer and the elephant shower head.
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
remember that one.
when they went to the low, oh my God, when they went to the low pressure showers in the building, and they all had like flat. Oh, all right. I'm gonna send you a link to that.
Yeah, send me the link, because I need something to watch. I need something to watch anyway. Adam, so have you escaped from the Great White North yet?
So I haven't escaped yet, and I'm up here, and I got to tell you, having the internet has really been a blessing for me. So, I hope Mark doesn't get his way. Stephen, I love that you study lost tribes. I study human perception. So I love this call. This is really in my wheelhouse over here. Everything that's natural that we have, whether it's a jealousy, stupid people, or all that, that's all needed. That's part of our interconnectivity and our relationship to each other. But what I'd love to see go away, and what I'd love to see added, is go away is professional politicians. We don't need professional politicians. It's not a profession. Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a politician. No, we don't. That's not a thing. Come serve your country, whatever kind of government you have, and then dismiss yourself and go back and be useful to the world. So we can get rid of them. And then what should we add? Something that's gone away: apprenticeship. And I really appreciate that Damon said that, we should make a really big mistake somewhere along the line, but our world would be such a better place if we took time to learn from the mistakes of others. If I do something that's really embarrassing and hurt my business in a way, I can teach that to the next generation, so they don't have to make that same mistake, and they can make that their own vital, course corrected, needed mistake on their own. So from up here in the north, being disconnected from everyone, I've created my own version of metaverse. But now that they're coming out with it, technically, we're actually going to create a metaverse, and we'll invite you all to plug in, so you can have your own Sims character, instead of creating one scene where all the characters converge. You'll just be able to invite characters to come over your house, and none of you have ever come to my place for a cocktail.
No,
and
we
I'd
have
like
not.
to invite you. I'd like to invite you. Say it again, Stephen.
No, we haven't, but it's possible, right?
Yeah. I've come to yours for dinner, and what a marvelous, wonderful experience it was to share the same time, the same space is great.
We're really enjoying our bar, and we are using it. And I was mentioning, I think I was telling Sarah, speaking with Sarah, after you're in it for like 10 or 15 minutes, you don't feel like you're locked in home on lockdown anymore. You're like in a hotel somewhere, and people behave, like differently in the bar. They're not like at the house, they're at the bar.
I love it. Oh, I can't wait for a visit. And I'll be visiting Florida December 6th. I make my attempted break free from Canada.
Well, I mean, you should definitely write, a screenplay for that. That could be, Escape from Canada. Escape from...
Adam,
Go ahead, Mark.
I hope that you get out.
Thank you.
No, you understand what's going on, right?
There's always something different going on.
Well, the Omicron, and in North America, the only cases are in Canada, so they may not let you. I mean, it's crazy what's happening. Like Israel, if you're not an Israeli citizen, you can't get into Israel now. There's other countries that are starting to do it, so you may want to run real quick to get to the States, not wait.
I'm prepared. I might not be able to get into the States. I might have to go down to Mexico and walk across the border.
You get free stuff.
Well, I mean, they'll pay you to come across the border, so that'll work out fine.
Right?
Jay, it's all on you now, man. You got 2 tasks. I'd like to answer the question and then just give us a summation of what everybody shared with us today.
I love listening to everybody and their thoughts. I think, being open to other people's ideas and thinking and hearing how other people just helps us grow so much. And, I write all this down. I have this pad that I write all this down and write everybody's stuff down because I want to keep it to learn from. And I look for themes. I look at, is there a theme that I can see here that, between everybody, is there some sort of thematic thing that comes up? And I didn't find anything that particularly struck me as such, but I think the one thing that it says is that we each have our own unique perspective on what we believe the world is and what would make the world better from our perspective, whether we remove something or whether we add something to it. And, I think that's the beauty of our world, is that we each have a different view of what we think would make this world a better place. And, to the people who are watching this, whether you're watching us live or you're watching us in the future sometime, the question I would ask you is, what is your perspective? And it is yours, and it's okay, right? It is just what it is. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's your perspective of the world, and you're entitled to it, and you should be. And that's a great thing, because it should open all of our minds to thinking a little bit differently. And certainly everybody who was on this call has given me a perspective to think. And that's a beautiful thing. And maybe one of the things that we need to add to our world is to think. Just think. I mean, can you think without bias? Can you think without judgment? Is it possible that you can open your mind to an idea that maybe you don't agree with, but can you synthesize it in your own mind in such a way that you can, pull it in there and come up with some sort of a synergy that can make it all work together? Right? Is it possible? Will you at least open your mind to that possibility? Right? Because, all these ideas that are being shared, whether it is, I think the internet should go away. Well, you know what? Mark maybe does have a point. I think he does. When I started thinking about it, if it went away, you thought about it for a second, if it all went away, what would it do to your life? Would it simplify it? Probably. Probably would, wouldn't it? If we were able to be more perseverant, as Damon suggests, what would your life be like? If you didn't give up that one thing that you gave up and you went just one step further, what would your life be like? What would it be like? Right? Jenny talks about negativism. If you gave up all your isms, whatever your isms are, I don't care what the ism is, if you just gave up isms, what would your life be like? Because we all have an ism. What would it be like? What would your neighbor be like if there were no isms? What would your coworker be like if there were no isms? What would that world look like? Did you just hear the words, or did you stop for a second and think? What would a world without isms be? And then when you start thinking about all these things that are being brought up, the question then becomes, what am I doing to contribute to it? Right? What is my accountability? What's my responsibility? What have I done to contribute to maybe helping people be more perseverant? Or what have I done on the internet that maybe wasn't as positive or proactive as it could be? Have I contributed inappropriately to it? What have I done to enhance an ism, whether it's in my own mind or publicly? How many times have I sat in the left lane way too long driving down the highway? Right? I mean, I've contributed to it, right? I have to take accountability and I have to take responsibility for my own actions. And maybe that's the bigger issue of this question, is when I think about it and I think about the answers that everyone gave, is what is my accountability to it all? What do I need to change in me? What needs to be different about not just the way I think, but what needs to be different about the way I act? And not just in a public view, but what about privately when nobody's looking? What is the integrity of my accountability when nobody's watching? What is that like? And then I started thinking about, I was thinking about all these things, and I was thinking about, for a second, I went, is there something that we can literally do to change the world? Is there something I literally can remove to change the world? Because I want to do that. I think we all do. I think we all want to go, gosh, if I just had the power. If I just had the power to remove that one thing, if I could just do it. And I started thinking, well, is there something we can do? And I started thinking about it, and I thought, on an individual level, there is something that we can do. And I would challenge you to remove this: fear. Because everything that I heard people talk about is based in fear. Shame is based in fear. We're afraid of a future. We're afraid of a past. We're ashamed of a past. But we have the power, if we're willing to be perseverant, to overcome our fear. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be afraid. It just means that we're going to do things afraid today. That we're going to help people. We're going to overcome an ism by reaching out and across and down and up and over. And we're going to reach out and we're going to get rid of those isms, and we're going to overcome a fear. And we're going to help them overcome a fear in the process. Because fear is the basis of all of it. And if we could individually go, gosh, what is it that is inhibiting me? What am I really afraid of? What am I really afraid of that people might find out? What if we could be vulnerable enough and honest enough and have enough integrity to just really come out and say, you know what? I'm no longer ashamed of this. Yeah, I did it. It was ugly. But it doesn't hold me back anymore. That would be the first thing I would remove, is fear. And I think we can do that individually and help others do that as well. If I were to add something, and I think we can do this as well, as I would add laughter. It's one of those emotions that we can't do anything else. When you have a really good, solid belly laugh, man, there is no way to think about sadness. When you are laughing, and I was listening to old Jack Benny radio programs from the 40s recently and 50s. And some of this comedy is still timeless.
Oh, it's completely relevant. This weekend I watched from 1955, Damn Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
With Ray Walston and Renee Verdon, and I watched from 1958, The Pajama Game.
Oh, great movie.
Doris Day.
Yeah.
Great sense of humor, but also, lofty ideals in it.
Yeah.
One of my favorites from when I was a kid, Blondie from
Oh my
1938.
gosh.
And it's all available there. Although there seems to be a war on comedy, you can still get a good laugh and find some stuff. I mean, I really dug deep this week. I watched Don Rickles' program from the 70s, CPO Sharkey, which was on for 2
Oh my
seasons.
gosh.
I watched 5 seasons of Sanford and Son.
Hey, Jay, have you ever heard Jim Valvano's speech from the ESPYs in '92?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. If anybody on this panel hasn't, you really, really, really should.
It's timeless. I was fortunate enough to be working for NC State's basketball program when Jim Valvano basically did his last broadcast from Reynolds Coliseum. And he spoke before that Duke game. It was Duke and NC State when Bobby Hurley was still playing as the point guard. And actually, NC State was a very limited team at the time. We only had about 9 players that could play, as people recall. And actually, NC State was up at half. But Jim Valvano gave a speech, and there was a lot of similarities between the speech that he gave that day on that Sunday afternoon compared to the speech at the ESPYs. And I will never forget his words, that are still inspiring to me, that we've got to experience all the emotions. We've got to experience it. And it was his theme. It was not just something he said on the ESPYs. It was something that I heard once before. He's quite, he was quite eloquent in what he did. And he was really energetic, and he fired you up. That's for sure.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jay, for bringing that to you. Sarah and I, we founded Rockstar Connect, and our goal with Rockstar Connect was to impact the world, and we feel to a large extent we have impacted a great number of people. Over 170,000 people have attended a Rockstar Connect event. We're happy to announce that we are adding events all over the country. We have the opportunity for you to bring, other people on board to have events in their area. So feel free to reach out to rockstarconnect.com to help Sarah and all of our hosts, like Mark, Sher, and Damon, and Domenic, to continue to connect people, because we're more alike than we're different. People want us to feel like we're different, but we're so similar to one another. I mean, I've spoken to everyone in depth that's on this program, and on paper, you would be. I just want to say, till are we on next week? Correct? Because we're not up at Christmas yet.
Yeah.
Right. We'll hope to see you again next week. Jay, glad to see you again. Great to see you again, Jennifer and Lisa and Adam. Escape from Canada. It